So first off, with the critique that I get with my vintage vehicles, I just want to say they're mine and I can do what I want, right? Hey, welcome to the channel. I'm Mike. The Scout's outside. We've got the MB in the garage. The hood's up. Nothing's broke. It's been a little bit. This video, well, so let me tell you what we're doing, and then we'll talk. This video, we are just, let me take you off here. We're gonna clean the garage. Let me kind of give you guys a wide angle view. So it's a mess in my garage. I got stuff everywhere, and I don't know if you guys normally, I don't know what your guys' garages look like. Mine doesn't normally look like this. Mine is never like really clean, but it's also it's a mess. I've been busy, had to work on my daughter's car. It's cold in Utah. She blew her heater core, so I did that. Had to work on my JK. Had to work on the Scout a little bit, but not much, so I didn't film any of that. Just tinkering on the Kubota MB. Not really doing anything crazy there. But today, we're just going to talk. I'm going to answer some questions that people have asked, and we're going to clean up the shop. And maybe I'll talk about some of the junk that I have laying around. But that's today's video, so stick around. If you have questions about like my MB with the Kubota swap or the Scout, it's got an LS swap, it's got a T19 Dana 20 with a low range kit in it, Dana 44 axles with Scout 2 Dana 44 axles with no cut and turn, but four-wheel disc brakes, Detroit lockers, 456 gears. So that's the Scout. If you got any questions about any of those things, hit me up in the comments. I try and answer all the questions that I get in the comments. So let's get started. I don't even know where to start because we have so much junk. I think I'm going to start with just bringing my big trash can in here, and we'll go from there. So let's do it. All right, let's get started. I'm gonna move you guys over here. Got the old Monster. Still not sponsored, but this is the best Monster right here. Regular Monster, green top, zero sugar. This is the best Monster. I know everybody likes the white Monsters. White Monsters are good. This is better. Oh, that's like heaven in your mouth. All right, let's, I think I'm going to start by just picking up some trash. So I'm going to move you guys out a little bit. Can you guys see everything? I'm going to move you guys out a little bit. I got some boxes and stuff. We're just going to pick up some trash first. But one of the questions I got that I've got a couple of times over the last, I've really been like putting effort into YouTube over the last year, putting my videos out there and stuff. And one of the questions I got, and that I still get on some of my videos, is why did I get a Scout and not a Jeep? And really, I've always had a Scout, almost, since high school. I got a Scout way back in high school, and I got a Scout way back in high school, and I loved it. It was a Scout 2. I had that for, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 years. Loved it. It was awesome. And drove it all the time. I sold it. It's one of those vehicles I shouldn't have sold. It was set up. Had a 6.0 in it. 1-ton axles, 35s. Probably could have gone 37s if I would have had money. But it was awesome. And I got rid of it. and I bought a Jeep Cherokee. And the Cherokee was awesome. You know, I had that for a while, but I always wanted to get back into a Scout. And I like the Scout 80s and 800s a lot better. I like the look of them a lot better than the Scout 2s. Now, if I had an opportunity to get a Scout 2, I totally would. I'd get another one. But that's kind of it. Nostalgia. I had one back in high school. So that's the reason I got a Scout. Another one of the questions I get asked is, I'm going to put some gloves on actually. By the way, I did find, I like these gloves. I got these off Temu, and they just came in a big old pack. I actually really like them, especially in the winter here. They're just warm enough to keep my hands from freezing. Actually, it's not that cold in my garage though. But let's see, another question I get is how did I find my Scout and what condition was it in? And I found my Scout on, I think it was KSL Classifieds. KSL Classifieds is a like a Utah classified ads thing. It's huge. I don't know if you guys use it in other states or anything like that, but I found it on KSL Classifieds. I think the guy wanted $800 for it when we first looked at it. It was my dad and I went and looked at it, and it was in terrible shape. The body, the guy had taken the body off of the frame. So the guy had like 5 Scouts, and he was making one good one out of all 5, which is super common. If you guys own a Scout, you know that happens all the time. So this guy that we were looking at, he did that. So he took the body off one Scout, put it on the frame of another Scout, and was putting it all together. So my Scout that he was selling for $800, he had taken the body off of one and the frame off another and put them together. So they're not numbers matching or anything, which I don't really care. But so the frame was sitting on there and the body was sitting on there. He did hook up the brakes and the steering, so you could steer it. You could use the brakes, and I don't think the key switch worked, but we were able to jump the starter, you know, and get it started. So we were able to drive it on the trailer, but it was in rough shape. The back had been smashed. The floors were rotted. The frame that it came with had the 4-cylinder, the 196 and the T90. So the bigger 4-cylinder, but not anything crazy. So anyways, that was kind of rambling, but that's how I found my Scout. It was not in great shape. So yeah, let's say I made a list of the questions so we could keep going. Oh, the next couple of questions I think are on the Kubota swap. So let me show you the Kubota swap real quick, in case you haven't seen it. It's 43 MB. It's got a Kubota diesel in it. Tried to keep some of the original parts on here because I thought they looked cool. But it's got a small little turbo. I don't know how big it is. Is it a 2.2, I think? Anyways, the Kubota is actually super fun. I got it swapped in right before it got real cold. So it's not great right now because it's cold outside. And there's no top, no doors. I'm not hardcore like the other Willis guys are. But what made me swap the Kubota in? I got bored. That's the bottom line. I got bored. I was having oil pressure problems with the I was having oil pressure problems with this, and I actually, after I swapped the Kubota in, I found out what the oil pressure problem is with this, and it's actually nothing wrong with the engine. The engine's fine, so I'm going to sell it. The engine, it runs great, sounds great. It's got phenomenal oil pressure. Found that out after I took it out. But I was having oil pressure problems with the flathead there. And my brother has a Kubota swap in his 47 2A, or is it 49? I can't ever remember. It might be a 47. In his 47 2A, the red Willis. Go look him up on Instagram. His Willis is awesome. But he had an extra Kubota laying around, and he's like, I'll give you a screaming deal on the Kubota. I called Greg, or emailed Greg at Overland Diesel, and he's like, yeah, this is what you need. I'll hook you up. Sent me everything I need for the swap. Ended up with an extra T90. So what I did was I took out the flathead. Is it a T84? I don't know what the original transmission is in the 1943 Willis MB. But yeah, so long story short, all the way back to, I was having oil pressures. That's why I decided to swap the Kubota in. Nothing crazy or anything like that. All right, let's keep going. All right, why do I have a Scout and an MB? So they are two completely different beasts, right? The Scout is a beast, and it'll go anywhere and do anything, and I've never had a problem. Well, I've had problems with it, obviously, it's a Scout, but I've never had problems going somewhere that I wanted to go. The Scout's always taken me there. And so the Willis and the MB, or the Scout, have two very different functions. The Scout has a lot of horsepower, super low geared also. It'll take me anywhere. I have no doubt that I can do 70, 75, 80 if I pushed it on the freeway, drive it to where I want to go. I love driving to where I go wheeling. So that's why I have the Scout, and I love the Scout. Now the MB, much smaller, you guys can see. The width of the MB here, much smaller, and the length, much shorter. So the MB will go a lot of places that the Scout won't. And so it's just it's a different beast. It's a different type of vehicle. It's just a different thing that it's going to be fun to drive. So that's why I got it. All right, a couple of questions on the Scout and the LS swap. So I've had the LS in the Scout for like 5 or 6 years. No, it was pre-COVID actually. When was COVID? COVID-19. So pre-COVID. So maybe I've had the LS in there for 6 or 7 years. Probably 7 years. I probably had the Kubota or the LS in the Scout for 7 years. And it's kind of hard to remember everything that I've done or that I had problems with the with the LS swap, but things that I remember. So I was putting an LS that came out of an automatic. So it's I think it's an 07 or 08. No, it's an 08. It's an 08 Chevy Silverado 5.3 liter LS engine. LS style. It's not really an LS, it's like an LT or something like that. Anyways, that doesn't matter. So one of the problems I had right off the bat was the wiring harness was set up. I used the stock wiring harness. The guy I bought it from said he could rewire it, make it a standalone wiring harness, so all I had to do was like hook up a power wire and I could run the engine. So I trusted the guy. He actually did an okay job. In hindsight, I would have bought a different wiring harness, just like a painless performance wiring harness, but I didn't, so I used that one. So one of the problems early on was that wiring harness that was set up for an automatic, and I put it in a manual. So I have a T19, had a T18 at the time. Anyways, the one of the plugs was giving me trouble in the ECM. I think it was the ECM. I guess automatic and manual, the neutral safety switches are opposite or something like that. So it took me a while to figure out that it was like in limp mode the whole time. So it would stay below like 3,000 RPM. It had no power. If I hit the gas, no, it was like super slow to respond. So that it took me a while to figure out that those two pins needed to be flip-flopped. So I swapped them, and I really haven't had a problem since then. So, all right, we're finally starting to get some things cleaned up. So of all the mods that I've done, actually let's move you out because I'm going to start putting all right, so we're starting to get cleaned up a little bit, getting some of this stuff taken care of on the workbench. Another question: what is one mod that I wish I did just a little bit sooner on either rig, the Scout or the MB? And honestly, on the MB, I wish I would have done the Kubota swap sooner, because it runs so much better now. It fires right up 100% of the time, no issues, runs fine, runs cool. I don't have any problems with it. So I wish I would have done the Kubota swap sooner. On the Scout, one swap I wish I would have done sooner. Well, I still haven't done it on the Scout. Hopefully it's in the works. But I kind of wish I would have done either a 5-speed or something with an overdrive just a little bit sooner. I think that would have been the best bang for the buck. Kubota diesel swap question, and the question was what motor mounts did I use for the Kubota swap? And let me show you guys if I can get this off here. There we go. All right, what motor mounts did I use? What motor mounts did I use for the Kubota swap? So let me show you. You can kind of see them right here. They are straight up from Overland Diesel. Greg at Overland Diesel, he makes those and sells them with his kit. I think it all comes. I think it all comes as one kit. Don't quote me on that. Contact Greg. Oh, actually, this goes over here. Contact Greg at Overland Diesel to see what actually comes with the kit. But those are the motor mounts I used. So I get a lot of, I don't know if I would call it hate, but I get a lot of comments and critiques about what I do with my vintage vehicles. So first off, with the critique that I get with my vintage vehicles, I just want to say they're mine, and I can do what I want, right? But really, honestly, my idea of what to do with the vehicle, it's my idea. We don't have to have the same ideas. We can have differing opinions. That's no big deal. It's fine. We can do that. But my thought on modifying a vintage vehicle, either keeping it original or modifying it beyond recognition, I don't care. You do what you want with your vehicle. It's your vehicle. You bought it. You can do what you want. I do, like right now, I am in the zone of keeping it stock looking. I think some people call those locker stalkers or resto mods, or I mean, there's a bunch of different terms for it. But I think keeping them looking semi-stock is the way to go. I'm not into the tubed out chassis with wide cut fenders and tires that stick out beyond the fenders and all that kind of stuff. Right now I'm into the kind of the stock-ish look. But again, like the Scout, there's hardly anything that's stock about the Scout. It's got a lift kit on it. It's got 33-inch tires, lockers, four-wheel disc brakes, power steering, a V8, fuel-injected V8, you know. Like there's very few things about my Scout 800 that are stock besides like the body. Even the seats in it are not stock. The rear seat's stock. That's about it. The MB, really everything about it except for the engine and the transmission are stock. The transfer case is a stock transfer case. The engine's the Kubota. The transmission, it is a Willis transmission, but it's a T90 out of like a 2A, so it's not even stock to the MB. So stock looking, that's my opinion. All right, another question I've been asked is how much of my actual like work do I do myself, and what do I farm out to the professionals? And I would say 99% of what I do, I do it. I don't send hardly any of my work out to the professionals, and you guys have probably noticed that through my videos. There's a lot of times in my videos where I'll do something and I'll screw it up and have to redo it or try again, or completely start over with fabrication. That happens a lot of times. I mean, a lot of times. So, yeah, I do 99% of my own work. On the Kubota, I did have the red Willis come over, help me out a little bit, just because it's a diesel. I'm not familiar with it. I'm not familiar with tuning a diesel or what a diesel is supposed to sound like or anything like that. So I had him come over, help me out a little bit. That's the most professional work I've had done. All right. Another question I get is if you're looking at buying a vintage vehicle, where should you start? And really, that's a very personal opinion, right? I have a Scout, I have a Willis, an MB, not a Ford GPW, but where to start? You know, I don't know. I don't know where to start. Sorry, I was just looking at the MB, trying to figure out a good answer for this question. It depends on what you want to do with it. The Willis, it's small, it's compact. You can buy a small trailer, single axle trailer. I mean, I think the Willis, I think it weighs like 2,000 pounds. So you could put it on a 1-ton trailer and tow it with anything. You could tow it with your Honda Civic down to Sand Hollow or, you know, across the country. Like almost any vehicle is going to tow this little Willis. You can find them for fairly cheap. They're fairly easy to work on. There's very minimal like electrical that goes with it. The mechanical aspect of it is pretty simple, and it's awesome to look at. So you can start with a Willis, a 2A, a 3A, a 3B, whatever. Just get one, right? The Scouts are for some reason going up in price. People think they're made of gold or something, and honestly, they're made of just like some terrible metal that rusts super easy. You're gonna have to put a lot of rust work into. But I'm very, very, very partial to Scouts. I think everybody should get a Scout, but I also think nobody should get a Scout because I want to be able to get $500 Scouts again. But the benefit of the Scout is most of them come standard with a hardtop, a full travel hardtop, and a back seat. So I can fit 4 people very comfortably in my Scout with heat, shaded from the elements. So it's a little bit more family friendly, I guess, but also the Willis, you can get back seats for them and you can fit 4 people in them. You can get hard tops for them. So most of them don't, like the little 2As, 3As, the MBs, the GPWs, none of them came stock with a hard top. Some came with soft tops, but I don't think any of them came with hard tops. So it's going to be, you're going to have to get the Willis and the hard top. And so I don't know. I don't know how difficult that is. I've never looked into it, but I guess that's an option. So anyways, long story short, if you're new to the vintage crowd and you want to get into it, just get something. Just get something and start. Just get something, get it running. I think Dave Freiberger talked about this, but the first thing you should do is just get it running so you can drive it. You don't need to worry about doing a frame off restoration. I didn't do that with the MB. I didn't do that with the Scout. I fixed the rust. I fixed the rust. Fixed the drivetrain a little bit, but then just did it. So the MB, it has stock brake setups on it, right? So it's got 4-wheel drum brakes, and since I bought it from a guy. I bought it from a guy in Nevada. It was in a field in the middle of Nevada. Had a tree falling on it. It was busted to pieces. Had different parts on it. Had an F head in it that didn't run. But long story short, it was not in the greatest of shape. And when I got it, I tried to just fix the rust the best I could, and then put the body back on, painted it, got the engine running, freed up that F-head, ran that F-head for about a year till it blew up. But I just got it running. Like, I didn't really care about how it looked. I just got it running. And now that it's running, I can do little things here and there to fix it up, to make it look nice, to make it more capable, to do better things for it. So, moral of the story, get it running, get it driving, get using it. That's what you got it for. So do that. All right, another question that's been asked is, what do I like so much about old 4x4s that gets me to keep wheeling them and not buy something new? And that's a tough question to answer, because I feel like that's a very individualized answer, right? Like that's going to be based on you and what you think and what you feel. But since it's my YouTube channel, we're going to go off what I think. And the reason I wheel vintage rigs is they have a, I don't know, it's hard to explain. They have like they have a soul. So old rigs have feeling, they have a soul, they have look at this awesome patch I found. They just have something about them that new vehicles don't have. Like, it's nice hopping in, like my JK, it's nice hopping in my JK. It's got heated seats, it's got cruise control, it's got my phone automatically connects to the radio, it's got, you know, Bluetooth, like, I can do 80, 85, 90 in some areas in Utah. That's above the speed limit, but I do it. But I push a button, the lockers turn on. I push a button, the lockers turn off. I disconnect the sway bar. You know, it's got all the amenities, and it's really nice. But I don't feel the vehicle. I don't feel part of it. I don't feel one with the vehicle. And maybe that's just me. Like when I'm driving the Scout, it's a manual transmission. You got to be 100% focused driving it. The steering kind of wanders a little bit, not a lot. You got to shift gears. When I'm out driving, I got to pick the right line when I'm off road. But you feel the bumps, you feel the articulation, you hear the creaks, you hear the little rattles and stuff. So I like wheeling the old rigs because of that. Because they have their soul. And also the vintage crowd, the guys that I go wheel with, that are the vintage 4x4 wheelers, they're a lot of fun. It's fun wheeling with them. All right, I want to show you guys a hack too. A tooltip Tuesday. All right, tooltip Tuesday, right? So I got these are Braun LEDs from Harbor Freight. They plug in, super bright. They're great work lights. I really like them. They got a handle, they got this. Anyways, that's not the hack. Let me show you the hack. The hack is to put a little magnet on the bottom. And let me show you another hack too. So look at this magnet. It's got all this crud stuck to it that I got to clean off now, right? This is a different magnet. Same, I use this for my GoPro mount, but a lot of stuff gets stuck to it, and I can just basically wipe all that stuff off and not worry about it. So I glued a little piece of rubber, just cut it out the same size as the magnet. And now I can just wipe that off and there's no junk that sticks to it. Whereas this one, before I knew about the rubber trick, it's got all this garbage that sticks on it. So that's not actually the hack that I was going to show you. The hack is putting a magnet on the bottom of my light so that if I want to, I can like stick this on my bumper there and use the light that way, or if I need to put the light this way, or I can still just put it on the fender. I can put it on the fender and use the base, but now the magnet just kind of sticks there, and so it holds it a little bit better, so I can angle it different ways. I mean, it still comes up super easy, right? But it allows a little bit more versatility with this magnet on the bottom. So if you get some shop lights like this, get a little magnet, put it on the bottom, put a piece of rubber on the bottom, just glue a little thin, real thin little piece of rubber on the bottom, and have your nice versatile shop light. All right, another often asked question that I get is, what are the plans for either the Kubota MB or the Scout? And really, I don't know. You know, like, off the top of my head, I don't know what my plans are really. So I do want to, I kind of want to go just maybe one size bigger on my tires, maybe like from a 33 to a 35, but I think I would have to lift it a lot more, and put a little bit more work into the suspension to get 35s to fit. And I just don't know how much of that I actually want to do. The other thing is, it's set up pretty good right now. It'll go everywhere that I want it to go. Now, for the MB, the plans for the MB are endless. I do have a lot of plans for the MB. I got a lot of extra parts for the Kubota swap. I shouldn't have so many extra parts. These are not good for anything. So the plans for, man, let's get back on track. I'm looking at stuff. I got a lot of cool stuff here. The plans for the MB. So I think the next step for the MB is going to be disc brakes. I'm going to put some disc brakes, four-wheel disc brakes. I'm going to get Brennan Metcalf, Brennan's Garage. He has a disc brake kit for these old Willis Jeeps, Willis vehicles. And so he sells some brackets that you take off the old, all the drum brake hardware. Put these brackets on there, you can put disc brakes on. You can do rear, front. He also has an emergency brake or a parking brake kit. That's an electric parking brake kit that I'm looking at. That's going to be like $500 though. I mean, the bracket kit itself is like $100 or $150, so that's not super expensive. But then it's about $100 per wheel for the hardware, for the rotors, for the new brake lines, for the calipers, the brake pads. It's like $100 a wheel plus 150 for the kit, so it's like, you know, like 550, 600. So that's probably in the future, but I mean, way down in the future, but I want to drive it first, right? So disc brakes next, and then potentially an overdrive, and then lockers. I think I want to drive it the way it is for a little bit before I put any lockers in it, but I need an overdrive. So disc brakes to stop, overdrive to go, and then lockers in the future. So that's the plans for the MB. Should be pretty fun, should be good, should be exciting. Also, another kind of a tech tip or whatever, I guess. This is heat wrap, or actually I'm not, sleeve. This is like a sleeve. I don't have any, oh, here we go. So, on the MB, I didn't want just a bunch of black hose flopping around because I think it kind of stands out a little bit. So this stuff slides over it, protects it from heat, but then kind of gives this neat little fabric, I don't know, woven texture on there. So it kind of hides the hose a little bit better. I like it. Goes well with the aesthetic of the MB. That's the garage. That's the garage cleanup. So that's just my camera stuff on there, and some air fresheners. Fuses. I could put the fuses away. All right, so, well, that's kind of it. I got the garage for the most part cleaned up. Cleaned up all the boxes and crap that I had laying around. Cleaned up all this stuff so that now I have way more room for activities in here. And I got my bench cleaned up. Like I said, this is just my camera stuff, so that's not a big deal. I'll get the camera stuff put away. I'm going to take it inside. But that's it. Yeah. Kind of a long, maybe boring video. Hopefully I answered some of the questions. Again, if you have more questions about my Scout, my projects, the Willis, the Kubota MB, feel free to ask. Again, I try and answer all the questions in the comments. So yeah, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time.